namine. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestha Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesh Shunyavadi Pashatya Deshatarine. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktarinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. I welcome you all for this Brahma-saṁhitā discussions. Today we are Shloka 50. I just share the screen and then we can go ahead. All right, so I'll read the Sanskrit and translation. Yat pada pallava yugam vinidhaya kumbha Dvandve pranama samaye saganadhiraja Vignan vihantum alam asya jagatrayasya Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Translation. I adore the primeval Lord Govinda, whose lotus feet are always held by Ganesh upon the pair of tumuli protruding from his elephant head, in order to obtain power for his function of destroying all the obstacles on the path of progress of the three worlds. So here the glorious and the secrets of Lord Ganesh's powers is disclosed in Brahma-saṁhitā and his relation to Krishna, to Govinda. So we heard Durga's position in relation to Krishna, we heard Shiva's position, we were discussing about Kshiradakashai and Karandakashai Vishnu's position in relation to Krishna, including Garbhodakashai Vishnu. Then we heard Lord Brahma, what is his position as a Jiva. And today's shloka describes Ganesh, a famous favorite deities of many, Vedic deity, which is worshipped widely. I think the Ganesh would have the biggest numbers of temples in India, in the world, of all devatas, most probably. And here in this shloka is described that I adore primeval Lord Govinda, whose lotus feet is always held by Ganesh upon the pair of tumuli protruding from his elephant head. Elephants has these two little kind of bumps on the head. So there, on that, Ganesh is always holding lotus feet of Govinda. Later on, we will see that actually particular form is Lord Nrsingadev's form, that Lord Ganesh worships. And why? In order to obtain power for his function. So clearly Shloka said the power comes from Krishna. What is the power? That he is destroying all the obstacles on the path of progress of the three worlds. For what he is worshipped? He is worshipped because he removes the obstacles. Where is the power coming from? From Krishna, from Govinda. This is what Shloka says. Okay, so we'll read the purport. The power of destroying all obstacles to mundane prosperity has been delegated to Ganesh, who is the object of worship to those who are eligible to worship him. So the power to destroy obstacles in mundane prosperity, in material life, we want to get some material benefit, then first thing is worship Ganesh to remove obstacles so that we can gain our material success. He has obtained a rank among the 5 gods as Brahma, possessing mundane quality. So this is mentioned here of Pancha Upasana, that he is worshipped among the 5 gods, which is usually worshipped by Vishnu, Shiva, Durga, Surya, and Ganesh. These 5 are worshipped as Pancha Upasana. The self-same Ganesh is a god in possession of delegated power by infusion of the divine power. Delegated power. So power is invested in him by infusion divine power. Is delegated. You delegate something. You don't do everything yourself. You delegate the power. You empower somebody to do something on your behalf. So that is given by Krishna. All his glory rests entirely on the grace of Govinda. So here again purport hints to that Ganesh is not independent God. He has no power on his own. The power is invested by Krishna. Therefore, he is great. Because he worships Krishna, he keeps his lotus feet on his elephant head. Therefore, he gets the power to perform what is he performing within the material universe. So this is explained here. Srila Jiva Goswami explains this, that because Ganesh is always worshipped first, Vedic injunction is that before you start any puja or any ritual or any ceremony, first you worship Ganesh. So because Ganesh is worshipped first, people may misunderstand. Oh, he's the first god. He's the most important god. So this shloka is mentioned here to resolve the issue, who is supreme and where does Ganesh get power from, to resolve issue, whether he should be worshipped first or not. So this is the point. And then Srila Jiva Goswami quotes interesting shloka to support that statement. He quotes the shloka I just shared with you. He quotes Bhagavatam, shloka about Shiva. The blessed Lord Shiva becomes all the more blessed by bearing on his head the holy waters of Ganga, which has its source in the water that washed the Lord's lotus feet. Now, Srila Jiva Goswami quotes this shloka. Say, Shiva is holding the Ganga on his head, and Ganga, we know, it's water came from washing Lord Vamana's feet. When Vaman peace universe, the Ganga enter in, no? So, the Lord's feet act like thunderbolts, hurled to shatter the mountain of sins stored in the mind of the meditating devotee. One should therefore meditate on the lotus feet of the Lord for a long time. Now, Srila Jiva Goswami quotes this shloka to show you that Ganesh's power comes from Govinda. It's a simple thing. If father is devotee of Vishnu and he is happy, then son also is a devotee. Shiva is father of Ganesh, so Shiva is superior to Ganesh. And Shiva is holding Ganga water happily, blissfully, blessed, by which bearing on his head the holy water Ganga, which is source of the water which washed lotus feet of Vishnu. So this is Srila Jiva Goswami simply by quoting this shloka immediately fixes the position of Ganesha in the Vedic hierarchy. It is clear, you know. So obviously Ganesh is son of Shiva. So it's unexpected that son will have more power than the father. You know? That is unexpected. So here, this is quoted here. Now we understand that Ganesh is very prominent worship in India, and now even all over the world, because India spread all over the world. And even if any foreigner is interested in Hinduism or in the Vedic culture, of all the deities, somehow or other, they become easily attracted to Ganesh. It's kind of most approachable, is looking jolly and his elephant head and look a little pot-like belly, you know, and always having some ladus, and mouse is his carrier. So this is something really easy to approach. Not every foreigner is attracted immediately with form of Kali or, you know, or other forms, you know, like that. So, yes, in many Puranas, the story of Ganesh is described, and different Puranas rather describe a little bit different story of his appearance according to different yugas or according to different universes also when it happens. So story may vary, but the basic concept is the son of Shiva and Parvati. Vaman Purana says that from perspiration of goddess Parvati, which was mixed with the ash from Lord Shiva's body, she created a figure with 4 hands, and that is Ganesh. And she placed him to protect her inner quarters when she was taking bath, that nobody enters. But unfortunately, Lord Shiva came, or fortunately, and he's the head of the house, so he can go wherever room he wants. He's the Lord Shiva. But the little Ganesh did not know that at that time, and he wanted to stop him. So there was a fight, and ultimately Lord Shiva cut the head off of the boy. And Parvati was very sad after learning about the incident. And she said, "This is your son." So Lord Shiva, "Oh, we can fix it up." So he ordered his gunners that bring me immediately head of the first living entity you find, and we'll, because this head bursted when Lord Shiva hit him, his head exploded, so that was beyond the repair. But And Lord Shiva said, no problem, bring me head of any other living being, first living entity you find. So first his soldiers, they bump into elephant, they cut his head and brought the head. So she said, all right, no problem. He fixed the elephant head and boy became alive. So this is how he got his elephant head. It's unusual. And this is the power. This is the power of devatas. They can have human form with elephant head. Vishnu has human form with lion's head, Lord Nrsimhadev. So they are different beings in the universe, having a human body and animal's head. One of those are kin purushas. They look a little different. So, but there is also other stories which are not so famous, but are narrated in Puranas also. Brahma-vaivarta Purana, for example, narrates the story how another time how Lord Ganesh appeared after Parvati asked for son for Lord Shiva for a very, very long time. I'll just show you a few shlokas from Brahma-vaivarta Purana. It's interesting. Parvati says to Shiva, in spite of achieving you, the Lord of the three worlds, as my husband, still I have no son. It is said that the life of a woman who has no son is useless. So she was lamenting. So Lord Shiva advised her, O virtuous one, perform Punyaka Vrata. By the power of that Vrata, you will achieve both an influential son and immense devotion to the Lord. Anybody remembers Punyaka Vrata? Anybody knows Punyaka Vrata mentioned in Krishna book? Satyabhama performed Punyaka Vrata because presiding deity of Punyaka Vrata is Krishna. Okay, you can see it, Krishna book. The main deity of the mantra of this Vrata is Lord Krishna, who fulfills all the worshippers' desire and redeems crores of generations of his ancestors and descendants. Whoever recites this mantra within the land of Bharata will be all successful in his life, and thereafter will attain to Vaikuntha, where he will reside eternally in comfort while serving the Lord as a courtier, as a servant, as a maidservant. Now look at the blessing. Lord Shiva is saying to Parvati, you do the Vrata, worship Krishna, your desire will be fulfilled and you will go Vaikuntha and eternally serve Lord there. Brahma-vaivarta Purana. Okay. So now for 1 year, Parvati did that Vrata, worshipped Krishna. And it's interesting, in this Vrata, a lot of sweets are offered. Krishna likes sweets. He's a Gopal. He likes milk sweets particularly. So in Vrata, you have to offer many sweets and worship Brahmanas and do the puja and do the abhishek and meditate on form of the Lord like that. So she followed for 1 year Punyaka Vrata with great attention and devotion, meditating on Krishna and offering him delicious sweets, flowers, tulasi leaves. In the meantime, Lord Shiva approached Krishna directly and said that my wife wants a son, please you bless. Just to make sure. She's doing Punyaka Vrata, but he himself wants to approach the Lord, that please Lord, you bless that she gets a son. So Krishna replies to Shiva now. This is the shloka directly from the Purana. O merciful one, since you yourself are the Lord of Vaishnavas, Vaishnavanam Yata Shambhu, your son will be known in the three worlds by name Ganesh. Remembrance of whom will eradicate all obstacles in one's life. Just by remembering Ganesha, all obstacles in one's life will be removed. Thus, he will be also known as Vigneshwara, Vignesh. No? So now this is interesting. Vignesh is one, Vigneshwara, Vignesh, who removes these obstacles, okay? Or what are the other names of Ganapati you know locally? Vinayaka, okay? Then? I can't hear. You are shy. What?
Ganapati.
Ganapati, right, Ganapati, the Lord of the Ganas, the leader of the associates. Okay, yes. So there are many, we'll just go through that one. Now here, particularly, he is famous for removing the obstacles. Moreover, Krishna says, because this Punyaka Vrata requires that many eatable items be given in charity, all of which will be consumed by Ganesh, he'll be also known as Lambodara, the big belly one. Due to the glands of Shani, that's another story, Lambodara's head will be severed. This is another way how he lost his head. whereupon an elephant's head will be implanted upon his torso. Thus he'll be also called as Gajanana, elephant-faced one. So there is another story, another time when Lord Ganesh appeared, there is another story that all the avatars came to see the baby, and everybody has to glance upon. But there was a story that Shani has this curse upon himself due to offending somebody, that if he glances upon somebody, his head will explode. So Parvati said that, oh, you came, you offer pranam, you didn't even look at my child. And Shani said, look, I have a problem. He was staring at the floor. I have a little problem. You know. No, you cannot. You have to look how sweet baby I have. She was insisting. He said, please, I shall not. Please excuse me. I have a problem. I have a curse. No, nothing happened. It's my son. Boom. Then again, the elephant head was fixed. Later on, when Gajanana's tusk is cut by Parashurama, that's another story. But sorry, I cannot all class narrate your story of Ganesh, but it's a famous one. He'll be consequently known as Ekadanta, the single tusk one. And you can see on all the photos or murtis of Ganesh, one tusk is broken on half. Sometimes he holds the remaining tusk in his hand. Because of my blessings, he'll be adored as first and foremost by all gods and people throughout the universe. Look what Krishna says. Because of my blessing, he'll be adored, worshipped as first and foremost by all gods and peoples throughout the universes. Throughout the universes. Krishna says, and this is exactly what today's shloka says, Yat pada pallavam vindaya kumbha. So this is the same message. Those who worship him prior to worshipping other gods, will be successful, or otherwise will meet with failure. So therefore, nobody misses Ganesh Puja. In one way or another, everywhere Ganapati will be worshipped. When you start building house, the maestri will come and make from haldi form of Ganesh and worship. To start singing traditional music, first song is sung in glories of Ganesh. Then in marriage ceremony, first puja is done to Ganesh. In every puja, basically, this first is over Ganesh and like that, So this is very famous. Now we should understand, where does he get power from? So this is what happened. And after the blessing of Krishna, Ganesh was born to Shiva and Parvati, and it became as Krishna expected. Now Lord Shiva, upon the birth of Ganesh, he gave him blessing as a father. This is the shloka. Oh son, you are dearer to me than my life. May you perform charity as I do. Be devoted to Hari. Possess great intelligence. Be malicious and peaceful, and always subjugate your enemies. But here, be devoted to Hari. That's the blessing of Lord Shiva to Ganesh. May you be devoted to Hari. That's the blessing upon the birth of Ganesh. And his grandfather, the Lord of Himalayas, who is the Parvati's father, says like this: may you always remain devoted to Lord Krishna and achieve eternal devotion to him. These are the blessings upon child. So my question is, who is supreme? Krishna. Simple. Otherwise you can read this nice book. Okay. So we know that Ganesh is very much famous for this, and everybody, even today devotees, they're having a little bit difficulties of giving up attachment to Ganesh, at least on the keychain of the car key, there'll be Ganesh hanging or somewhere, sticker will be there in the house, some little bit support material is expected. Okay, now we know also that he did great service to Vyasadeva when Vyasadeva spoke the Mahabharata. Then Ganesh was so powerful and capable to go on writing it down without stopping. Vyasadeva say that I will speak it out, but somebody should be competent enough that immediately write it down on the spot without stopping. So Ganesh was appointed for that. He had this power, And there was a Leela between Vyasadeva and Ganesh also, when You will find in Mahabharata some shlokas very complex. And Vyasadeva says to Ganesh, you cannot write anything which you do not understand. So in order to gain some time to compose his story in advance, you know Mahabharata, how Mahabharata goes. There is a story beginning, and then there is a story within the story, and there is a story within the story, and in the story somebody narrates the story, and he speaks about another story, and goes on, I don't know how many levels, nobody counted. You get lost. It's not possible. It's mind-blowing. So complex. So in order to Vyasadeva to gain a little bit of time to compose everything in the order and the way he wanted, because he's just speaking on the spot. He needs also time to think how to compose it properly. He has to compose the shlokas. So sometimes he will insert in Mahabharata a few shlokas which are double meaning or triple meaning or quadruple meaning or very philosophical. So Ganesh had to, for a moment, stop and think. Because Vyasadeva say, if you don't understand, you cannot write it down. So in that way, Vyasadeva will get a little time to compose further. So there was a particular Leela, but Ganesh was empowered, qualified, only one in the universe to write it down. So these are his glories, these are his powers. And Mahabharata, we know, in the midst of Mahabharata is Bhagavad Gita. It's all meant to glorify Pandavas and Krishna. So this is important literature for us. Now, the point to understand from this shloka is that we should not, even if Shastra says, even Purana says, and others, the Ganesh should be worshipped, we should understand that he is not independent, supreme God, that he is empowered by Krishna, and he has particular function to perform, not to worship him as an independent God. Now you may say, okay, but what about Bhagavatam? Bhagavatam also says one should worship the Ganesh. Look at this shloka. Durgam Vinayakam Vyasam Vishwaksena Gurun Suran Sveshe Sthane Tvabhimukhan Pujate Prokshanadibihi. This is from Bhagavatam. With rituals such as Prokshana, one should worship Durga, Vinayaka, Vyas, Vishwaksena, spiritual master in the various demigods. All these personalities should be in their proper places, facing the deity of the Lord. Now, when you have Krishna's Murti or Vishnu's Murti or Ram's Murti there for worship, this is how is recommended. This is from 11th canto. Krishna is teaching Uddhava. So one should worship Krishna and worship all these other devatas. But you must understand, facing the deity of the Lord, the main worship is to Krishna. Then, explanations given by the Acharyas. You may find it, this is from Bhagavatam, so you may say, you see, even Bhagavatam say worship Ganesh and Durga, what is the problem? What to speak of other Puranas? So according to Srila Jiva Goswami, Ganesh and Durga mentioned in this verse are not the same personalities present within material world. Rather, they are eternal associates of the Lord in Vaikuntha. Oops, now you can see in the chart here in Vaikuntha. If you go to fourth Avarana, first Avarana, second, third, fourth, now you will see the Ganesh is there, but not the Ganesh of the material world. He has a spiritual body, he is eternal associate of the Lord. And he is serving their Lord eternally. So this form of Ganesh, this form of Durga in fourth Avarana also should be worshipped, understanding to be internal potency of the Lord, not Mahamaya, not external potency of the Lord, not Durga or material world. The name is same because this Durga and this Ganesh give their Shaktis invest in the Devatas within material world. So this is described that in fourth Avarana of Vaikuntha, eternal associates of the Lord, Ganesh resides there. This is the one mentioned here in this purport. In this world, Ganesh, the son of Lord Shiva, is famous for acquiring financial success, and the goddess Durga, the wife of Shiva, is famous as the external, illusory potency of Supreme Lord. The personality mentioned here, however, are eternally liberated associates of the Lord who reside in spiritual sky, beyond the material manifestation. Srila Jiva Goswami quotes from various Vedic literatures to prove that the name Durga may also indicate internal potency of the Lord. We were discussing this in previous shlokas. Who is none different from him. The external or covering potency of the Lord expands from this original Durga. The Durga of material world, called Mahamaya, assumes the function of bewildering living entities. Thus, a devotee should not fear becoming polluted by worshipping the Durga mentioned here, who has the same name as illusion. But rather, the devotee must show respect to these eternal servitors of the Supreme Lord in Vaikuntha. So this is what, when deity worship of Krishna is mentioned, these eternal associates of the Lord are worshipped, not the devatas within material world. So, and then you will see Sridhar Swami's commentary on that also explains that after offering prasadam even and prokshana before offering bhoga to the Lord Naivedya, then after that it's offered to Vishwaksena, which is general, again, personality in Vaikuntha, eternal associates of the Lord, right here with the Lord. Vishwaksena is worshipped. And then again is mentioned, Ganesh, Durga, everyone else is offered prasadam of the Lord. So this is how it's worshipped. Madhvas, they do that. They have every day after worshipping Udupi Krishna, down they will have forms of Vishwaksena also. And then they offer the prasadam. So this is explained. Now there is a conversation between Srila Prabhupada and Bhakti Rakshak, Sridhar Dev Maharaj, disciple of Bhaktisiddhanta. Two god brothers met and they are discussing. So they are discussing position Lord Shiva, so they mention Ganesh there. Prabhupada says, here he is Bhutanath, leader of the atheistic class of men, Shiva. Sridhar Maharaj says, atheistic class, and his paraphernalia is Nandi Bringi, Bhuta, and his elder son is Vinayaka, and he misguided, the leader of the misguided, Vinayaka, Ganesh. Now this is another translation word, Vinayaka, very interesting. Prabhupada, oh, Vinayaka, Vigata, Vinayaka, not proper Nayaka. Nayaka means hero, Vinayaka, not really a hero. Vikrita Nayaka, Vikrita Nayaka. Vikrita means deformed, not proper, not exactly, opposite. Okay, Vikrita Nayaka, Prabhupada says, Sridhar Maharaj says, Vinayanika Pamode Shuddha Prabhu, that are protected by Krishna. But in Brahma-saṁhitā, Ganesh is described, Prabhupada says, Vignanasha. No, Vignanasha, but with the help of Narsingadev on his kumbha. Bhakti Vigna Vinashana Narsingadev. Any obstacles of Bhakti Vigna Vinashana is removed by Narsingadev. Any obstacles in material world, Vigna Vinashana is removed by Ganesh because he worships Narsingadev. So this is where he gets power. Prabhupada says, oh, I see, Yat Pada Pallava Yugam Vinidaya. With the help of his lotus feet, he is able to. Otherwise, he is Vinayaka. Vinayaka, Ganesh. Prabhupada laughs now. Sridhar Maharaj speaks in Bengali. Prabhupada, misleader. Vinayaka means misleader. Sridhar Maharaj, misleader, misguider, Ganesh. His elder son. As he gives support, Shiva, just as CR does encourage Subhash Bose and other members of party, but he himself was a little common person. So this is how he compares that idea. Okay, so these are some comments of the Prabhupada, and just, So common man worships Ganesh for the material benefit. But there is also other group of spiritualists who worships Ganesh. And these are Mayavadis. So they made this concept of Pancha Upasana, worshiping of 5 of these devatas, Vishnu, Shiva, Durga, Surya, and Ganesh. Sometimes instead of Ganesh, Brahma is worshipped. Sometimes Brahma is mentioned also. So here, Srila Prabhupada explains, the impersonalist imagine the various demigods to be forms of the Lord. Now why Prabhupada say the impersonalists imagine various demigods to be forms of the Lord? Because impersonalists, they don't believe in form of the Lord. So they say you worship deity to focus your mind on something. After your mind is focused, trained, then you don't have to think of this temporary imaginary form. And also they imagine that gods are Supreme Lord, which they are not. So both explanation can be applied. So Prabhupada explained. For example, the Mayavadis worship 5 demigods, Pancha Upasana. They do not actually believe in the form of Lord, but for the sake of worship, they imagine some form to be God. Generally, they imagine form of Vishnu, form of Shiva, forms of Ganesh, Sun God, and Durga. This is called Pancha Upasana. And this is very amazing. I told you before, we came once we were traveling in Gujarat on the bank of Narmada, we came in one temple, Sankirtan temple. And there is a altar was very unusual. We heard people are chanting Mahamantra. So we were happy. Oh, somebody is chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, in the village in Gujarat. And when we came inside, unusual altar, there was one platform and this Panchopasana, all 5 Buddhas were standing there. And not really dressed, just, like marble painted, that Vishnu and Shiva, Durga, Surya and Ganapati. And down you can see all the Swamijis with 3 lines, Tripundra on their forehead, and they are singing Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Completely into it, completely, So they saw us and they immediately invited us to sing with them. So we sang. Whether we sang than they sing, because obviously something was wrong with understanding of Sambandha Jnana, who is supreme, And then we asked this main Swamiji that how is it possible you people were Tripundra, a worshipper of Shiva, and you have this unusual altar? Because I never seen this before. I was really surprised, what is it, everything on same level, all 5 on the same level. Usually you see either Durga temple or Shiva temple or Ganapati temple, or you will see Shiva and Parvati and Ganapati on side, or you see Lakshmi Narayan. But where you see these 5, I didn't see before. I was new in India at that time. So I asked this Swamiji, how is it possible you people chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, wear 3 lines and worship these 5 deities on the same altar? All 3 things were bewildering. So he said, Hare Nam, Hare Nam, Hare Nam, Eva Kevalam, Kalau Nastya, 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 Gatir Anyatha. There is no other way in Kali Yuga to merge into the Lord than by chanting of his names. And we fainted almost, really, that was shocking, So this is not proper understanding. So they don't even believe in deity form. They said this temporary, you focus your mind and after you give up because ultimately Lord has no form. But this is not what Veda says. Veda says Lord has a form and all these deities are persons, they have also form. But devatas, they may have material form and Lord has a spiritual form. That's the difference. So Prabhupada explains, the path of worship of the innumerable devas or administrative demigods, administrative, they are appointed to perform particular function in the universe, is still more hazardous and uncertain than above mentioned process of karma, kanda and jnana kanda. The system of worshipping many gods such as Durga, Shiva, Ganesh, Surya and the impersonal Vishnu form is accepted by persons who have been blinded by intense desire for sense gratification. Now Prabhupada clarified here, impersonal Vishnu form. They put the form of Vishnu, but they say, oh, ultimately it's all impersonal. And they worship him as another demigod on the level of demigods. So this is big misunderstanding. Don't think, oh, you see, they're also chanting Hare Krishna, they're also worshiping Vishnu, but their understanding who is supreme is not clear. Therefore, we should not even hear from them a mantra to sing, or what to speak of taking food offered by them, what to speak of hearing from them shastric explanations. Obviously, the Sambandha Jnana, the fundamental knowledge of relationship of Jiva and God is not proper. When properly executed in terms of the rites mentioned in Shastras, which are now very difficult to perform in this age of want of scarcity, such worship can certainly fulfill one's desire for sense gratification. It's just demigod worship. Even if it's successful, which is difficult to perform, it will give you just material benefit. But the success obtained by such method is certainly transient. Transient means temporary. And it is suitable only for less intelligent persons. Antavatu phalam tesham tadbhavati alpamedasam. That is verdict of Bhagavad Gita. No sane man should be satisfied by such temporary benefit. Alpamedasam. Less intelligent. Okay. So this Panchopasana, the purpose is there. Even Vedas prescribe it, recommends it. But purpose is there to uplift one. Prabhupada explains. Panchopasana. 5. Sun God, Ganesh, Durga, Shiva, and then Vishnu. So there is even order given. The first is worship Sun God, then Ganesh, then Durga, then Shiva, and then Vishnu. This is also gradual, evolutionary. People in the most lowest stage of humanity, they are struck with wonder by the power. They try people in the forest or anywhere, they see some thunderbolt or some flood or something, they say, oh, power, God is some inconceivable power. They relate to that. As soon as there is some electricity, they feel some power, like thunderbolt. So when they are power worshippers, the modern scientists, they are power worshippers. They have gone up to the sun god, not God, sun globe. This much they understand. They still don't understand personal feature of it. The power is, see, from the sunshine. So this is one stage, power. In this way, one after another, when one comes to the supreme powerful Vishnu, because that is unlimited power. So Prabhupada hints there is gradation. First you worship the power, then you worship Ganesh, then you worship Durga, then you worship Shiva, then you understand the ultimate powerful Vishnu. Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains this in little more detail, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Mayavad is engaged in the worship of 5 gods, Durga, the sun god, Ganapati, Shiva and Vishnu. At first, there is the material energy under control of Durga. Then appears the sun, which induces action in the material energy. Then appears Ganesh, Ganapati, who confirms the existence of consciousness. Then appears Shiva, who is perceived as all-pervading. And finally, Lord Vishnu is served. He is the super soul, Sachitananda, incomparable and beyond the reach of ordinary living entities. From a doubtful person to a learned scholar or spiritual topics, all are eligible to worship Supreme Brahman. For varieties of worshippers, this is given, according to their level of consciousness and understanding. The symptom of actual worship is to make advancement on the path of raga. One should therefore worship Supreme Lord, who is Sachitananda and the controller of all living entities. However, if one remains entangled in other processes of worship, one will never achieve the goal of life. So this ultimately demigod worship in Vedas is prescribed to gradually uplift you from worshipping of nature, worshipping of universe, worshipping of powers, forces, to the worship of personalities. First, personalities in charge for different divisions, devatas, personality in charge for air, vayu, agni, fire, personality in charge for the rain, Indra, Varuna for water, Kuvera for treasure, Lakshmi for the material wealth, Saraswati for the knowledge, music, all these things, one after another. So you approach, there is personality controlling even material power. There is a Ganga Devi behind the river Ganga. The river Ganga is an energy, is a water, is a power, but there is a presiding deity of the power, controlling deity of the power, Ganga Devi. So behind all the universe, there is universal form, there is a Vishnu. And above the universe, there is an eternal form of the Lord, Krishna. So this is the explanation that and there is a danger then, if you don't understand this hierarchy, if you don't understand who is supreme and how to worship step by step, you may get stuck in demigod worship and not achieve moksha, not achieve the desired success in life. Not understanding the process of the cyclic succession, so-called logicians put forward the theory of Panchupasana, in which person worship of the 5 deities, Vishnu, Shiva, Durga, Sun God, or Ganesh. In this conception, the impersonalists imagine one of these 5 deities as supreme and reject the others. Now, this is another follow Pacha Upasana. They accept these 5 as gods. What about other devatas? Why others are now rejected? Why not Indra, Agni, Vayu? They are devatas or not? So again, you see, it's discriminate. Such philosophical speculation, which is certainly idol worship, is not accepted by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or Vaishnavas. This imaginary deity worship has recently been transformed into Mayavad impersonalism. So originally, you see, it's not meant for that. Originally, is meant to uplift worshipper to the worship of Vishnu. But now the Mayavad they start interpreting and now become transformed into Mayavad impersonalism. No? And they say that you worship deity till you understand that actually God has no form. After that, you give up deity worship. It's so bad. It's so offensive, basically. Yeah? For want of Krishna consciousness, people are victimized by the Mayad philosophy, and consequently, they sometimes become staunch atheists. And even ultimately, they become atheists because God has no form, no qualities, no pastimes. These all stories about Krishna and Vrindavan, this all imagination. Or even if it happened, it's Maya, because form and activity and emotions and qualities, this is all Maya, Mayavad. Yeah? So they become atheists. They don't believe that God is person who is enjoying pastimes, who is Purna Purushottam, they are not accepting this. So this is the problem with this Panchupasana. Okay, here, Srila Prabhupada explains. In the Shastras, there are 33 millions of Devata. They say, whatever you worship, the rascals say, not any intelligent man, that whatever Devata, you worship Kali, that's all right. You worship Ganesh, that's all right. You worship Surya, that's all right. Whatever you are doing is all right. It's the same thing. No. Prabhupada said, no, not like that. Now you see from this Pancha Upasana, which is meant to gradual uplifting, now they say, any Devata you worship is good. Now anyone you choose, you worship. This is now new philosophy. This is not what Veda says. Now they are propagating that. Jatamat, Tatapat, correct? No, Krishna does not say. Krishna says, Mam Ekam. That is wanted. Krishna never says, you worship Goddess Kali or Durga or this or that. That's all right. But these rascals say, oh, this is all right. And he has become Guru. He does not know what is the path of salvation, how one can get out, get rid of this problem of birth, death, and still they preach. They do not know, but they pose as a Guru and they teach. And how many times you heard in your life, all gods are same, Now this is, don't misunderstand. We respect all Vedic devatas, but we are not saying that worship any devata will reach goal. And we are not going now through all these Yanti Deva, Vrata Devan. You know all this from Bhagavad Gita, so I'm not going into all discussion of Gita, which is very clear that Krishna is supreme and that even faith and even blessings given by devatas to the worshippers are coming from Krishna. I assume we all know this, so we are not discussing this. Here particularly we are discussing how these new Mayavadis, they change Vedic understanding of demigod worship. Because Vedas recommend different demigod worship, doesn't mean that Vedas say everyone is equal, everyone is one, everyone is supreme. There's a gradual progress from worshipping on Durga to worshipping of Surya, to worship of Ganesh, to worship of Shiva, and then in Sattva Gun, when one is situated, he worships Vishnu. But now they say, whatever God you choose, like on the market, whatever you like, you buy, So how is it? You are choosing God. God has chosen us, not that we can choose God. No? Like I told already, you have a father, and now you are born. Okay, now I choose my father. How can you choose father? Because very fact that you are born means you have a fixed father. No, I choose whatever. All are you fathers. All the men are potential fathers. Correct? Kishore Mohan, are you father? Yes. You are my father. Now, Mukunda Nishinga, your father. That's it. He's my father. Today you'll be my father. I'll see how you do. Then tomorrow I'll change. And that's also what I do. Worship this one. If desires are not fulfilled, go to somebody else. It's a big misunderstanding. It's a big misunderstanding. There are so many. They'll find rascal gurus. They are preaching like that. Whatever you do, it's all right. There is a big mission. They say also that Jatamat Hataphat. How many ways? This many, what is it? Jatamat? How many thoughts? This many paths, this many ways. Whatever you imagine, whatever way you want to worship, that's okay. You don't listen what Shastra says. Whatever way you want to worship. You come to the ticket counter, buying on railway station tickets, and the officer will ask you, sir, where you want to go? No, you just give tickets, whatever. All tickets, any ticket will do. No, where you want to go? No, all tickets are laden, whatever. Jatamat, Tatapat. Correct? So, okay, he gives you Bombay ticket, you enter into Delhi train, and TT will come, sir, you have wrong ticket. Jatamat, Tatapat. Unless he is also a follower of that particular mission. Whatever you have manufactured, the way of salvation, that's all right. That's what they propagate. But Krishna does not say, or the Shastra does not say. Shastra says, Harim Vina, Namritim Taranti. Unless you surrender to Krishna, Hari, there is no question of salvation. There is no question of salvation. So this is imaginary. Sounds nice. Sounds nice. Be nice to others. Why you are fighting? Who is supreme? Shiva is supreme. All are one. It's nice. Sounds nice. It's kind of more, pacifistic, more kind of propagating peace, So, but look at the Srila Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur's commentary. The smartas worship Vishnu. It's part of their worship of demigods, such as Ganesh, Surya, Durga. When smartas worship Vishnu, they think he's just another demigod and does not amount to worship of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Even if they worship Vishnu, they don't get benefit of worship Vishnu as Vaishnava do. They consider him a devata. There is famous Satya Narayana Puja, when Vishnu is counted one among devatas, and this is prohibited for Vaishnavas to do. Although it is Narayana Puja, Satya, there is a GBC resolution that ISKCON devotees should not attend Satya Narayana Puja. Why? Because Vishnu is addressed as one of the devatas there. It's offense, it's very offensive. Okay. Worshipping Vishnu as if he were one of the 5 demigods means one consider him one of the demigods. Such worship is both offensive and atheistic. Shastra says, Yastu Narayanam Devam Brahma Rudradi Daivata Samatvenaiva Viksheta Sapashandi Bhave Dhruvam. One who considers Lord Vishnu to be the same category with the demigods of Lord Brahma or Shiva, or who thinks Lord Brahma and Shiva to be equal to Vishnu, is to be considered Pashandi, faithless non-believer. Atheistic Hindus do not consider Krishna's holy name both the ultimate goal of life and the perfect means to achieve it. So they don't expect, why only Hare Krishna, Namah Shivaya chant, Om Ganapate Namaha, Durga Ma chant. Every name you chant is same. But look what Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says. Atheistic Hindus do not consider Krishna's name both the ultimate goal and the perfect means to achieve it. They consider Krishna equal to demigods and Krishna's holy name equal to fruitive activities such as yagya, tapas, yoga, meditation, observing vows. Mahaprabhu said, Koti Ashwamedha Eka Krishna Nama Sama Ye Kai Se Pashandi Dande Tareyama. One who says that 10 million Ashwamedha sacrifices are equal to chanting the holy name of Krishna is undoubtedly an atheist. He is sure to be punished by Yamaraj, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says. So not same, you know. Worship of Vishnu in the course of worshipping the 5 gods does not please Lord Vishnu, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur explained. It's simply demigod worship and therefore improper. Really, what a quotes. Amazing, no? Bhaktisiddhanta continues. Those who worship Ganesh, Surya, Durga, worship Krishna's shadow potency. Shadow potency is material potency. It is material way of worship. Worshipping demigods is material activity, it's not spiritual activity. You are not spiritualist by worshipping demigods. You are a materialistic person. You go to temple and ask, give me money, give me this, give me that. So what is spiritual in that? And they are in charge for material assets. Removing obstacles, blessing you to have children, blessing you to get business, blessing you to... So where is the spirit in all of this? Where is something spiritual? Spiritual means transcendental, above the material. That's what is spiritual. Spirit is different from matter. Spiritual activities leads to moksha. Where is the question of moksha when you're asking, give me money, give me money, give me money, give me wife, give me house, give me fame, give me this, give me that. Give me blessing to stay in material world. That's what it is. It's material. It's not say, so we worship Ganesh, you worship Krishna. What's the difference? The difference is, yanti deva vrata devan, mad bhakta yanti mamapi. But my devotee will come to me. Mamupeti to kante puna janmana vidyate. Once you come to Krishna, no more birth and death. But abrahma puna loka punaravartinojana. But if you worship devatas, you have to take birth again because all their places are within material universe. They will all be destroyed. So here, those who worship Ganesh, Surya, Durga, worship Krishna's shadow potency because no one has an existence of Krishna. Nobody. Vasudeva, Vaida, Agrasi, na Brahma, na cha Shankara. Nobody is there when Pralaya comes except Vishnu, Narayana. Nobody is there. All other devatas are withdrawn. All other devatas are gone. No one is there. But since they are worshipping Krishna's shadow potency, they do not attain self-realization or knowledge of their relationship with the Lord. And you can see the Devata worshippers, they're just karmis, materialistic people. You don't see them spiritually advanced. Here devotees you can see who worship Vishnu. either Śrī Vaishnavas or Madhvas or Gaudiya Vaishnavas or Vallabhas, Pushti Margis or Nimbarkas, you can see they are devotees. You can see they are attached to Vishnu, to Krishna, to Ram. You can see they have devotion. Devotion, what is devotion? Vairagya Vidya Nija Bhakti Yoga. When you practice bhakti, Vairagya is immediately there. Renouncement, desire to renounce material sense gratification, renounce material desires, renounce. But in demigod worship, that material desires are encouraged. What is that? Dhanam Dehi, Rupam Dehi, this, give me this, give me that. There's a, what was that our Subramani told us? He does this, no, there is another, yeah, they chant, there is a Durga Puja, when they chant mantra, asking 245 things from the Durga, something, 245, if I remember correctly number, some 200 something, and he's listing it, and just goes on chanting, and Swaha, give us clothes, give us silk, give us grains, give us children, give us progeny, give us fame, give us house, give us shelter, give us husband, give us cows, give us prosperity, give us, it's a big order, please, 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 give this, give that, give this, give that, And what are devotees' prayer? Nadanam, najanam, nasundarim, kavitam, jagadish. Mama janmani janmani, not even moksha. Janmani janmani, life after life, you give me no problem. But please engage me. Hai tuki bhakti apratigata. Or what about Kunti's prayers? Please put us in calamities. Who will pray like this? So you see, there's a big difference. Therefore, you cannot say, I worship Shiva, I worship Ganesh, you worship Krishna. What's the problem? All are spiritual, all are going same. Where you are going? You are going nowhere. You're going to stuck in material world. It's a big problem. When they attain self-realization, they will understand that Krishna alone is their supreme master and that all living entities are his eternal servants. They will know that service to Krishna is their eternal occupational duty. So that is the difference. That is a big difference. So devotees' understanding of demigod worship is quite different. Even when we go to Ganapati temple or we go to see Meenakshi or we go to Shiva, we are seeing different. We are seeing that their relation with Krishna, they are also servant. Ekaleshwa Krishna Arasabhabritya. All are. They are divine personalities. They are empowered by the Lord. They are big, big ministers in the government of the Lord. But they are not independent gods. So this is how we see. This is how devotees see. Look at this. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself visits demigods' temples. So what's wrong? We go. Here is from Chaitanya Charitamrita Shloka. When the Lord went to visit the temple of Vishweshwara, hundreds of thousands of people assembled to see him. Now this is in Varanasi. Purport. The important point in this verse is that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu regularly visited the temple of Vishweshwara, Lord Shiva at Varanasi. Vaishnavas generally do not visit demigod's temple. You heard that point? Vaishnavas generally do not visit demigod's temple. Not Śrī Vaishnavas, that's for sure. But here we see that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu regularly visited the temple of Vishweshwara, who was the predominating deity of Varanasi, or Kashi Vishwanathan, as famous today. Generally, Mayavadi sannyasis and worshippers of Shiva live in Varanasi. But how is it that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who took the path of Vaishnava sannyasi, also visits that Vishweshwara temple? The answer is that the Vaishnava does not behave impudently towards the demigods. We are not, I'll not go to demigods. We understand that they are in the servants of Lord. They are big post in government. What is a question of if finance minister comes or home affairs minister comes that you don't respect him? I know Modi. I don't need to talk to you. It's offensive. It's offensive to Modi. If you know the prime minister, doesn't mean that you ignore the rest of the government. No, you respect them, but you know this is the prime minister and this is the chief minister. They are not the same. They are not at the same level. This is the understanding. Vaishnava gives proper respect to all, although he never accepts a demigod to be as good as Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is the understanding. And this is difficult because all India is messed up with this, all gods are one, and worship anybody you want, all paths are same, all rivers will ultimately merge into the ocean. All rivers will merge into ocean. Yes, that's true. But also, the sun will evaporate water of the river and form the clouds, so you can't stay there. So there are many, any path you lead will lead you to the same. But yes, in Vedic lore, yes, if you worship demigods, ultimately you will come to the worship of Vishnu. But if you hear this Mayavad in the meantime, that God has no form, that Lord's pastimes are, material, that deity for are not exactly God. We are temporary, but not exactly. Then you become disrespectful, then you become atheist, then you get stuck in offenses. There is a problem. Unless demigod worship is approached properly through the Vedic understanding, it will not give result. So here, devotees, they can go to Devatas temples, but they are not worshipping them. But they are not envious on them. They are not criticizing either. This is Bhagavatam. Mumukshav ghora rupan hitva bhutan patinata narayana kala shanta bhajanti hyanusuyava. Those who are serious about liberation are certainly non-envious. Nirmatsaya. No? Anusuya. What is that? Anusuya. And they respect all. Yet they reject the horrible and ghastly forms of demigods and worship only all blissful forms of Vishnu and his plenary portions. So we are not envious, we are not criticizing demigods. We are not competing with them. But we will not go there. Our heart is not there. Our worship, our mind, our prayers, our puja, that is at the lotus feet of Krishna, Narayana, Vishnu, Ram, but not of the demigods. There is no need. No. Now, not only that Lord Chaitanya went to the Shiva's temple, he went to Ganapati temple also. Kolhapura, Lakshmi dekena Shira Bhagavati, Langa Ganesha dekena Chora Parvati. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then visited the town of Kolhapur when he saw the goddess of fortune in the temple of Shira Bhagavati and saw Langa Ganesh in another temple known as Chora Parvati. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to Ganapati temple. So why we are not going nowadays? It happened to be nearby we go. Means if it's on the way, somewhere we go, why not? So how do we do that? What is the system? So Srila Prabhupada explained how devotees relate to demigods and Panchopasana also. In the Brahma-saṁhitā, there are mantras offering obeisance to Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, Sun God, and Lord Ganesh, as well as Lord Vishnu, all of whom are worshipped by the impersonalists as Panchopasana. In their temples, impersonalists install deities of Vishnu, Shiva, Sun God, Durga, and sometimes Lord Brahma also. And this system is continuing at present in India under the guise of the Hindu religion. Vaishnavas can also worship these demigods, but only on the principles of Brahma-saṁhitā, which is recommended by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We may note in this connection that mantras for worshipping Shiva, Brahma, Durga, and Sun God Ganesh are described in Brahma-saṁhitā. So when devotees go to demigod temple, we chant these mantras. No? If we go to Durga temple, we chant Srishti Sthiti Pralaya Sadhana Shakti Rekha. What is translation? The external potency Maya, who is of nature of shadow, Chit, spiritual potency, is worshipped by all people as Durga, creating, preserving, destroying agency of mundane world. I adore primeval Lord Govinda, in accordance with whose will Durga conducts herself. So we chant the mantra reminding ourselves, this is the external potency of the Lord, empowered by Krishna. By his will, Durga is conducted. And what do we pray for? Please bless us with pure Krishna bhakti. That's it. We don't take prasadam of demigods because the worshipper who offered that naivedyam, he is thinking, this is independent God, this is supreme God, this is equal or higher than Vishnu. Because the worshipper may not have proper understanding, therefore the offerings are not accepted by Vaishnavas. Unless Vaishnava offer first to Krishna and then offer to Shiva or Durga, we will not accept unless this is done in that way. Not even flowers, not vibhuti, not charanamrit, none of this, but respectfully. Therefore, it's difficult for us to go to demigod's temple. Therefore, we have difficulties. Pujari comes to give you flowers. You respectfully accept them, and you can, place it somewhere beneath the tree or somewhere respectfully, But there is a problem that we don't want to divert our devotion to anybody else. Just like a chaste wife will focus devotion to husband. how many husband wife can have? There is only one exception, Draupadi. So that's exception. Exception doesn't break the rule. Exception confirms the rule. The rule is one husband. Eka patni. Not Eka patni. The Eka bhakti. No? Ekanta bhakti. This is how it's described in Bhagavad. Ekanta bhakti. Mam ekam sharanam vraja. Krishna demands, worship only me. Focus mind. Manmana abha mad bhakto. Madhyaji mam namaskar. So that's the idea. So for Shiva, Kshiram yata dadi vikara vishesha yoga. For Brahma, Bhaswan yatashma sakalesha nishesha teja. For Ganapati, yatpada pallava yugam vinidaya kumbha. No problem. You go to Ganapati temple, offer pranam, and please bless us with pure bhakti to Krishna. As you are great devotee, son of the greatest Vaishnava Shiva, please bless us to progress in bhakti. Then is okay. But if you go on asking anything else, then the bhakti is ruined. Then is Mishra bhakti. Then bhakti is diverted to somebody else. Yachakshuresha savita sakalagrahanam, that will soon come to this shloka, worshipping Surya, shloka 52. So Prabhupada explained, all the demigods are servants of Krishna. They are not equal with Krishna. Therefore, even one goes to a temple of the Panchupasanas mentioned above, one should not accept the deities as they are accepted by the impersonalists. All of them are to be accepted as personal demigods, but they all serve the other Supreme Lord. Impersonal things, that these murtis are actually just representing the Brahman, which is impersonal, and they are all equal in the power. But we say these murtis are personalities, they are personal, and they are not equal in power. So this is the difference in understanding. Even, I mean, you know all the, I'll not go through Gita and again through all this. But even second, Nama Parada is described. No? Shivasya Shri Vishnu Reha Guna Nama Adi Sakalam Dhya Vinnam Pashet Sakalu Harinama Hitakaraha. To think that names of demigods, even names of demigods are not equal to Vishnu. What to speak of themselves, no? Such Lord Shiva as good as the name of Vishnu, or in other words, to think Shiva and other demigods or other forms of God are therefore equal to Vishnu. It's atheism. But the idea is like this, that we must offer proper respect to all demigods. We are not offending them. Sometimes young devotees, they go to that extreme. Shiva, but no, we are not offensive. You must understand their exalted position. But they are not the ultimate object of worship. One can offer, Prabhupada says, one can offer respect even to an ant. Why not to the demigods? One must always know, however, that no demigod is equal to or above Supreme Lord. Ekala Ishvara Krishna Ara Sabhabhritya. Only Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. All others, including demigods as Shiva, Brahma, Goddess Durga, Ganesh, are his servants. And people get offended. If you say Shiva is servant of Krishna and Ganesh is servant, people get very much offended. They don't understand, because the word servant in material world is really misused and abused and is horrible, not some prestigious position. But to be a servant of God is question of the most exalted position. The best position in existence, in the universes, you can get if you are servant of God. That's the highest position. There cannot be, there's not something offensive, but because in material world is servant, you're very offensive. How can you say Shiva is servant? Shiva says, I'm the servant of Lord. Ganesh says, I'm the servant of Lord. We'll come to this shloka. Just be a little bit patient, few minutes. Everyone serves the purpose of Supreme God. And what to speak of such small and insignificant living entities are ourselves. We are surely eternal servants of Lord. The Maya philosophy maintains that these demigods, living entities, and Supreme Lord are equal. You see, devatas are jivas. Jiva tattvas in power to do ruling. It is therefore most foolish misinterpretation of Vedic knowledge that all devatas are equal to Vishnu. No? But the problem is, then again, devotees argue. But Prabhuji, I read in Nectar of Devotion that one should worship Ganapati. So why we are not worshipping? What's the problem? Here, Nectar of Devotion quoted by Srila Prabhupada. One should begin the worship of demigod Ganapati, who drives away all impediments in execution of devotional service. In the Brahma-saṁhitā, it is stated that Ganapati worships the lotus feet of Lord Nrsimhadev, And in that way, he has become auspicious for the devotees in clearing out all impediments. Therefore, all devotees should worship Ganapati. Prabhupada said, that's all. Today we are going Raj Ganapati temple here in Salem, famous temple. We are not going. Okay, right. Now, we can, Shastra recommends this, Nectar of Devotion recommends. Now it will be explained how and why. Now look at this. Yes, it is possible if you have proper consciousness, there's no problem. Devotee asked Prabhupada, same question. Since Krishna is power that gives the demigods the ability to render everything, then why is it recommended in Nectar of Devotion that Vaishnavas should worship Ganapati? Prabhupada said, Devotee, why is it recommended in Nectar of Devotion that Vaishnavas should worship Ganapati? Prabhupada said, Krishna worship, everyone. Just like we worship also ordinary men, if it gives us facilities to worship Krishna. Very interesting. We go to somebody and worship him, flatter him, because he will give some money and it will be engaged in Krishna service. The man is not worshipable, but he helps us to worship Krishna. Thereby, he will be helped and we will be helped, also helped. And Krishna will be satisfied. Krishna will be satisfied that my devotee has brought some money from this rascal. All right. That is it. Laughter. Look at this explanation. So if you want to ask something for Krishna, say, okay, you can ask. Why not? Go and flatter Ganapati. You are going to flatter rich man, you can go and flatter Ganapati. But we are not speaking about worshipping Ganapati as a supreme Lord. It's very clear. You see that? Prabhupada just laughed. So Ganapati is also devotee, Prabhupada said. So Ganapati, it is not required. Means it is not required to worship. But sometimes we do. Just like gopis, they worship goddess Durga, Katyayani. They did not require. But the social system is that. So when we are going somewhere and Pujari says, oh, Swamiji, come, Ganapati temple. Yeah, we go, we offer pranam, we show the respect, we chant the mantra, and we go out. It's a social system, Okay. But they asked that, Mother Katyayani, give us the opportunity to have Krishna as our husband. So they didn't ask material benefit gopis. The aim is Krishna. Generally, they go to worship Devi Durga for asking material benefit. Dhanam Dehi, Rupam Dehi, Yasho Dehi. These things which we want in material. But the gopis, they do not go for any material things for Krishna. Similarly, we can go to any demigod. Why Ganapati? Everyone. But our prayer should be, please give us Krishna. Then it is correct. No? So there is a problem that if you take any money or any material blessing, you use it for your own service, for your own sense gratification, then you ruin your bhakti. So can we control it? Can we do it? Look at this. Guru Kripa did for some time. He was big collector in Japan, collecting for our Krishna Balaram temple. Look what he did. When we were just traveling this last time and collecting Śrīla Prabhupada, every day we were offering some incense to Ganesh, and this prayer in Brahma-saṁhitā, Yat Pada Pallava Prabhupada, Pallava Yugam Vinidaya Kumbha. We are saying this, give us facility to collect nice Lakshmi to use to build a temple in Vrindavan. Yashodanandan repeats, to build a temple for Krishna and Balaram in Vrindavan. Prabhupada says, yes, that is good. So all collectors now, please, get small Ganapati Murti. Whatever possible facility is available from any person, we beg for it for Krishna service, not for our personal benefit. But there was more conversation in the Prabhupada. They forget Krishna. Now if you go too much into demigods and you get some material, the danger is to forget Krishna. They forget Krishna. When they go to worship some other demigod, they forget Krishna. Kama istasta hrita jnana. Because they have got so strong material desires that they forget Krishna. That is harmful. Alpavat tu phalam tesha. They got some benefit out of demigods, but that will not stay. Alpavat, antavat, antavat tu phalam tesha. Men of small intelligence worship demigods, Bhagavad Gita, and their fruits are limited and temporary. Those who worship the demigods go to planets of demigods, but my devotees ultimately reach my supreme planet. So it's not same worship. But if you take Krishna, then it is not antavat. It will go on increasingly. If you take to Krishna consciousness, it will never end. It will increase. Ananda Buddhivardhanam, increasing. The ocean does not increase, but Krishna consciousness is such a great ocean that it increases only. Anandam Buddhivardhanam. Hare Krishna. Chandracharya, Chandanacharya. Is it not better just to say, Krishna, whatever you decide, whatever you give me, that I will accept, like Kunti. Now look at this, Prabhupada. Why should I take from Krishna? I should give. Why to go to Krishna asking for material benefit also? You see Vaishnava devotion service. Prabhupada, why to ask from Krishna? We should give, we should say, okay, not that now, okay, we'll not go to Ganapati, we'll go to Krishna. Krishna, Dhanam Dehi, Yasho Dehi. Why to ask for material benefit? Look at this. No, I mean, instead of praying to demigods, to give me something saying, whatever you decide, Krishna. Oh yeah. No, a devotee never prays to Krishna for anything material. They have to undergo so much troubles. Still, they never pray to Krishna. They know that Krishna will give us ultimately protection. Let us do our duty. Tatenu kampam susumikshamana. No, I worship you and expect your causeless mercy. Whenever you want, you bless me, but I'm not asking. When a devotee is in difficulty, he is not disturbed. He thinks, it's Krishna's wish that I should suffer like this. It is not suffering, it is my pleasure. Just like when a patient is undergoing surgical operation, there is a pain, but he knows it is better for me. Therefore agrees, yes sir, you go on with your life. So when difficulty comes, don't blame Krishna, don't blame devotees. No? Think, oh, it's good for me. Yeah, surgery is done, it's better for me, I'll be purified. So when you are surrendered to Krishna, and Krishna said that I shall give you protection. So even in our distress condition, we must know that we are being protected by Krishna. We should not be disturbed. Because we create so-called distress and happiness. Actually, this world is distress. Here the so-called happiness is also distress. So why devotee should be disturbed by distress condition? Hare Nam, Hare Nam, Hare Nam. Just see the understanding of this. Where is the demigod worship? Where is the question approaching for material benefit? Even Krishna, we don't approach for material benefit. Just 1 second. Interesting few more quotes. So that you must understand. Acharya is one who teaches by example. Srila Prabhupada is Acharya. He showed us what to do. He said, do as I did. Do as I did. Whatever I do, you do. Did Prabhupada ever open Ganapati temple? He opened 108 temples. Is there any one Ganapati temple? Is there any one time that Prabhupada did Ganapati Puja or Shiva Puja or Durga Puja or Surya Puja? Did he ever did once so we can introduce? No, he never did. So it's a warning to all these temples now. Some temples start Shivaratri celebrating. Why? To get public, to get money. Why now Shiva Puja in our temples? Where did Prabhupada show that? Where Ganapati Puja should start? Why? Why to introduce now these things? So this should be stopped. Okay, so Prabhupada teach by example and also directly instructed. In spite of nectar of devotion mentioning to worship, we do not worship. And that will be explained why in a few moments. Please, patience, please. Prabhupada says in the letter directly to Shivananda, so far worshipping Ganesh is concerned, that is not necessary. Not that it should be done on a regular basis. If you like, you can pray to Ganapati for removing all impediments of path of Krishna consciousness. That you can do if you like. But not that now we worship regularly Ganapati or something. If you go to Ganapati temple, you say, please, let me progress in bhakti. But not that now regularly you go to Ganapati particularly worship. That is not required. To Sudama, Prabhupada says, the Ganesh Puja may not be performed. No, it is not to be done. No need of it. I hope this meets you in good health. Okay, look at this. I do not encourage you to, I think this is now one of this letter. Let me see to whom is this letter. I think this is to Bhaktadas. No, just a second. This is to all devotees there was all group of devotees with Guru Kripa started this worship of Ganapati. So finally Prabhupada wrote to Guru Kripa also, told him not to do any more Ganapati Puja. And now he wrote to all group together. My dear sons, this is how letter starts. I do not encourage you to worship this demigod, Ganesh. It is not required. It is not necessary. Simply worship Krishna. perform nice devotional service to Krishna. Then your lives will certainly become perfect. Of course, if one has got some sentiment for achieving blessings of Ganesh, for accumulating large sums of money to serve Krishna, then he may perform this Ganesh worship privately, not making public show. Okay, if you're really attached and you really want money for Krishna's temple, okay, do little Ganapati Puja at your home. But look at the condition, Prabhupada said. But first of all, he must give me $100,000 per month, not a single farthing less. If he can supply this amount, 100,000 per month, then he will be allowed to do this Ganesh Puja. Otherwise, he should not do it. It will not be good. That is my order. So Prabhupada is, who can do 100,000 per month? Means Prabhupada is discouraging it. Okay, really you think you'll get something substantial, then it's worth it. We'll use for Krishna's temple. But for small, why you want to divert your bhakti? To Bhaktadas, who was also part of the group, Prabhupada wrote separate letter. And he was good book distributor at that time. So look what Prabhupada said. Concerning Ganesh worship, it is not actually necessary for us. But if someone has sentiment for getting the blessing of Ganesh in order to get large amounts of money, Krishna service, then it is all right. But anyone who takes up this kind of worship must send me at least $100,000 monthly, not less. If he cannot send this amount, then cannot do Ganesh worship. Please continue distributing books, as many as possible. That was his instruction. And even today, Bhakta Prabhu is distributing books. Means he took that, I think he is the one mentioned in the memories of Srila Prabhupada. He mentions this incident in Hawaii, if I remember, if I didn't mix the personality. Please continue distributing my books, as many as possible. Hope this means in good heart, So you see, there is direct order. So why this Hari Bhakti Vilas? Nectar of Devotion is summary of Hari Bhakti Vilas. Why this Hari Bhakti Vilas then recommends demigod worship? Why our own book, Nectar of Devotion, recommends Ganapati worship? So this is explained. Not only Prabhupada, okay, before that, just one more quote is that, not that Prabhupada didn't allow his devotees to worship Ganapati. He criticized Sri Vaishnavas in Tirupati when Tirupati Devasthanam built Ganapati temple there. It was not there over thousands of years. Now recently they built it. Look at this. Prabhupada says, Tirupati is establishing Ganesh temple. That is against Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavan says that Kama istasta krita jnana yajantyanya devata. The rascals who are very much lusty, lost their intelligence, they worship other demigods. Achyutananda. The Ramanuja sannyasis have had all their authority taken away from government, basically. They are not doing it. Government is pushing. Put Ganapati temple, more pilgrim comes, more money comes. Not understanding. Prabhupada said, all their authority in the temple has been taken away by government officers. Prabhupada said, just see. He didn't like the news. News came that Tirupati Devasthanam building Ganapati temple in Tirumala. Prabhupada was furious. What to speak of our people building Ganapati temple or keeping Ganapati everywhere around, no? So now, why this Hari Bhakti Vilas is written? Prabhupada explains in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Sanatana Goswami wrote his Vaishnava Smriti, Hari Bhakti Vilas, which was specifically meant for India. In those days, India was more or less following the principles of Smarta Vidhi. Srila Sanatana Goswami had to keep peace with us, and his Hari Bhakti Vilas was compiled with this in mind. So basically, Vaishnavas were not accepted by local Brahmanas as a spiritualists, as a people qualified to worship deities. Because in Vaishnava Sampradaya, we give Brahmin threat even to non-Brahmins by birth. We say that Vaishnavas are higher than Brahmins. And then the Smartas were criticizing, you're not following anything. What is your vidhi? What is your sadhya? What is your sadhana? What is your daily puja? What do you follow? So Hari Bhakti Vilas was composed from all the Shastras, and portion of it was, some shlokas were put to pacify, to please the Brahmanas. They also, okay, they accept Ganapati worship also, okay, is there, pujas are there, this is proper, okay, they are following properly. But we don't follow everything what is giving Hari Bhakti Vilas. Here, another Prabhupada explains the same thing. He, Srila Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Goswami, claims that the Smarta Samaj, which is strictly followed by caste Brahmanas, has influenced portion that Gopal Bhatta Goswami collected from the original Hari Bhakti Vilas. It is therefore very difficult to find out Vaishnava direction from the book of Gopal Bhatta Goswami. It is better to consult commentary made by Sanatana Goswami himself or Hari Bhaktivilas under the name of Digdarshini Tika. So we don't follow every single shloka from Hari Bhaktivilas. Therefore, this Ganapati Puja is never done by any Gaudiya Vaishnavas. It's not done. It is mentioned there in Hari Bhaktivilas because to please the smartas, that Vaishnava be accepted. But we don't follow all of this. Not only that, but Gopal Bhatta Goswami, who collected all this, he explains that instead of worship Ganesh to remove obstacles, here he quotes the shlokas from Padma Purana. He explains, Ananya Sharano Bhakto Nama Mantra Shudikshita Kadachin Narchaye Devan Ganesh Adims to Vaishnava. Ananya Sharano Bhakto Nama Mantra Shudikshita. Those devotees who are, anyway, I have translation, why should I translate? The devotee interest in pure devotion to Lord and initiated with Vaishnava mantra, one who has taken Diksha. Okay, here you can see. Nama Mantra Dikshita Kadachin na archayet Devan Ganesham. He will never, is prohibited to worship Ganesh Adims, and all other demigods. This is what Padma Purana says. The devotee interested in pure devotion and initiated Vaishnava mantra should never worship Ganesh and other devatas. Wherever karma is prescribed worship of Ganesh and the devatas, the Vaishnava should worship pure devotees of Vishnu. Who will remove obstacles? Pure devotees, our Guru Parampara, all the pure Mahabhagavatas, they will remove obstacles in path of bhakti. Thus, instead of worship Ganesh to remove material obstacles, the devotee should worship Vishwaksen, the commander-in-chief of Vishnu's army in Vaikuntha, and 4 Kumaras to remove obstacles on the spiritual path. This is from Padma Purana. Then again, he quotes second one. Whereas the materialists worship the Navagrahas, Navagraha Puja, very famous. 9 demigods presiding over 9 planets. The devotees worship Kavya Muni and Nava Yogendras. They do the same job. No need to go to Navagrahas, no need to go to astrologer, no need to get the stone, no need to get kavachas. We worship devotees and they chant the holy name. When the non-devotee worships the deity of directions, Dikpalas, the devotee should worship Mahajana, Brahma, Shukadev, Sadashiva, Garuda, Narad, Kapila, Bali, Bhishma, Prahlad, Hanuman, Ambarish, great Yama, Swayambhuva Manu, and great Vaishnava Vyas. This worship of Lord Vishnu and the Vaishnava is well known as has been performed age after age. No? So instead of worshipping Ganesh and Navagrahas and go to astrologer, we go to temple, chant holy name, Nama Chintamani Krishna, the best of the jewels that we can wear. And we worship Guru Parampara, we worship Mahajanas, we worship Vaishnavas to give us blessings. So Ganesh position is clear in today's shloka. Yad pada pallavam yuga vinidaya kumbha dvadve pranamse saganadi raja vignan vihantum alamasya jagatrayasya govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. And you can see in Brahma Vaivarta Purana, that's also described. Ganesha kartikeyascha natva krishnam parat param. Ganesh in Kartikeya first prostrated to Lord Krishna, who is greater than the greatest, and then to Shiva, Yamaraj, Shesha, and Brahma. Look at this from Brahma Vaivarta Purana. When Ganesh in Kartikeya saw the whole assembly of great gods, first they offer pranam to Krishna, then to Shiva, who is their father, then to Yamaraj, then to Shesha, then to Brahma. Exactly in the order. Adi Varaha Purana says, if one worships Ganesh for thousands of births and is free from all sins, it is then possible to achieve platform of Vaishnavism. Then only he can become Vaishnava. If you worship for thousands of births, Janmantara Sahasreshu, Vaishnavam Labet Kashi. So ultimately it is meant, if you worship Ganesh, who is also devotee of the Lord, if you worship for thousands and thousands of births, and you can become free from sin, then gradually it will uplift you to Vaishnavism. At that time, when one has become devotee of Supreme Lord, his bhakti is one-pointed, Mame Kam Sharanam Vraja, towards his beloved Krishna and no one else. So this is conclusion. Beautiful shloka is quoted, Pavitranam Pavitram Yo Mangalanam Cha Mangalam Daivatam Devatanam Cha Bhutanam Yo Vyayah Pita. Lord Krishna is the most purifying of all purifiers. And it is he who gives the power to remove sinful reactions to the Ganga and other places of pilgrimage. He is the most auspicious of all auspicious personalities, and it is he who gives to Ganesh and others the power to remove obstacles. He is the most worshipful person, superior to Brahma and all the demigods. He is the eternal, original Father of all living entities. So thank you very much. Sorry for a little bit prolonging today, but this is a very important subject. One should understand, should never be disrespectful to Lord Ganesh or any other demigods, but we should never misunderstand their position in relation to Krishna. Everyone is servant of Krishna, everyone, including all the devatas and including all living entities. So we great respect, we offer pranam, we chant mantras from Brahma-saṁhitā, which are very clearly describing, depicting the position, the relation of devatas to Krishna. Thank you very much. Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai, Śrī Brahma-saṁhitā ki jai, Gaur Premanande.